Grand Rising, everyone. I hope everyone is having a grand day already, a grand week. For those of you who are still doing your shadow work, still dealing with the dark side, good morning to you. Hopefully, you are able to come out of that quickly. Very interesting topic today that the Most High put on my spirit this morning to talk about Bubble Boy. My husband Dawad gave me he told me to watch this movie called Eli. And we know the book of Eli, the movie with Denzel Washington was about when the Bible was taken away. But this Eli is something strange. So I'm going to share my screen and we're just going to do a little bit of Google research today. That's what I'm going to do. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Got a lot of information to get out. This is a very high energy spiritual time. So I'm going to tell everybody to put your big girl panties on, put your big boy boxers on, because this is not the time to get caught lacking. Okay, we do not want to get weighed in the balance because it is justice. The Justice League is here. All right, so let's see what the internet has to say about the Bubble Boy. Okay, so this is the IndieWire.com. Netflix's Eli trailer. Bubble Boy meets The Conjuring. What? Okay. So this is from the trailer in 2019. So they were preparing us for it. Um, so where does the concept of Eli, the Bubble Boy, come from? Now let's if you watch TV, I'm not a big TV watcher, but I get caught up with other people that watch TV. So and they want me to sit down and watch TV with them. So okay. Um SpongeBob was one of my favorite characters though. So if I sit up and watch scary movies all night, I got to turn on cartoons to be able to sleep. Yes, I'm a scary cat. Okay, so SpongeBob, Bubble Boy. I gotta get on here and talk because at this time, the stuff I be talking about don't nobody be understanding. They be looking at me like I'm crazy. So I'm like, okay, I'm just get on here and talk to myself and whoever else want to listen. So okay, here we go. We got Bubble Buddy. SpongeBob decides to literally make a new friend, and after several failed attempts, he blows a bubble figure whom he names Bubble Buddy. A sister episode is the Big Pink Loser. This stuff makes me think about Bob, one of my mom's favorite movies from back in the day. Now let's see what the backstory on the Blob was. Let's take a look at some of these pictures and see what the Blob was doing. So the Blob was a big pink disgusting thing that ate people. And of course, once it started eating the people, it turned red. So it went from pink to red. This also makes me think about, that's disgusting. This also makes me think about the pink filler for burgers. Yeah, so burger meat. You got this pink slime. Who's eating this? Pink slime in McDonald's burgers. McDonald's. Now we think about coming to America and Mr. McDowell. I'm also gonna pull up Good Burger. talk about that next. Okay, so now when we talking about these things, now we have to think about biblical aspects when we're doing this. Now his name was Cleo McDowell, coming to America 1988. Pay attention to the numbers. John Amos and Cleo McDowell. Now let's just read a little bit of the backstory on coming to America and what the goal was for this coming to America. Okay, so Coming to America is a 1988 American romantic comedy film directed by John Landis and based on a story originally created by Eddie Murphy, who also stars in the lead role. The film also co stars Arsenio Hall, James Earl Jones, Cherie Headley, and John Amos. The film was released in the United States on June 29th, 1988. Eddie Murphy plays Akeem Jaffer, the crown prince of the fictional African nation of Zamunda, who travels to the United States in the hopes of finding a woman he can marry. Now, why did he need to come to America to find a woman that he could marry? So in 1989, a pilot for a planned spin off television series was made, although this was never picked up for a series. A sequel, Coming to America, was released on March 4th, 2021. 3/4, 2021. So the plot. In the wealthy African nation of Zamunda, Crown Prince Akeem Jaffer grows weary of his pampered lifestyle on his 21st birthday and wishes to do more for himself. When his parents, King Jaffe and Queen A- Alien, looks like alien to me, present him with an arranged bride to be, Akeem takes action. Now these names bring me back also to the movie Empire. Now look at the picture that they have on here now. This is really sick. So the serpent, these colors, the black and the gold, remind me of the gang Vice Lords. In Chicago, there's a gang called the Vice Lords. Now look at I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Look at the colors. You got the red and black. Look at the people's faces. Now, when they say that we all look alike, trust me, it's not a lie. It's because demons have been dying and bringing themselves back for years on end. Look at where it all stems from. You got Mississippi, Bloods, Memphis, Willie Lloyd, Knowledge, 5 Point Star. Down here in Atlanta, I just had a premonition, whatever you want to call it. The Most High told me, he say, why are these Hebrews, they're on 5 points in Atlanta. All the Hebrews be on 5 points. Like, what are we doing? A lot of people are out here and listening to these people are invoking spirits to come into your life. People are sending particular people to you so that your life ends up in shambles because they know that you have a calling on your life. But the thing is, the Most High said, what is yours is yours. Can't nobody take away nothing that the Most High has for you. And that is facts. That is what he showed me these past few months in I'm sorry, in April. In April, the devil tried to hex me or whatever he called himself doing, but the Most High told me to get up. I was laying in the bed with my daughter in Chicago. I was supposed to have been waiting on my mother to get her surgery, but I couldn't even wait. I was there all of 2 days. I was supposed to have been there for 2, 3 weeks, maybe a month. And when I got there, I couldn't stop talking. I couldn't shut up. Everybody was asking me to shut up, but I couldn't. I couldn't. I had to say what was on my mind. I was seeing things. I was seeing too many things to not say something, to not ring the alarm, to not blow the trumpet. Because if I don't, then what? Then now they blood on my hands. No, no, no. I can't go out like that. So I was laying in the bed. Most High say, get up. Get up right now and don't go back to sleep. Don't let them rock you back to sleep. You better get up, wake up, and stay up. Get ready and stay ready so you don't have to get ready. My husband told me when I left Atlanta that a big storm came, like something off a movie. When we went to Chicago, it rained it was a mist the whole however many hours it take to get up there. 11, 10, 11 hours, however long, 8, however long. It misted up until an hour out. And that also brings me back to another movie. The Mist. Now, what was The Mist about? $18 million budget. Dark Woods Productions. Edited by the Hunter M. Villa. What is going on in this world? Like, all right, let's see what this was all about. So The Mist, also known as Stephen King's The Mist, is a 2007 American science fiction horror film based on the 1980 novella The Mist by Stephen King. The film was written and directed by Frank Darabont. Darabont had been interested in adapting The Mist for the big screen since the 1980s. The film features an ensemble cast including Thomas Jane, Marcia Gay Harden, Nathan Gamble, Andre Braugher, Toby Jones, Francis Sternhagen, Buck Taylor, William Sadler, Sam Witwer, Alexa Davalos, Chris Owen, Andy Stahl, and future The Walking Dead actors Laurie Holden, Jeffrey DeMoon, Damon, Melissa McBride, and Juan Gabriel Perja. The director revised the ending of the film to be darker than the novella's ending, a change to which King was amenable. Darabont also sought unique creature designs to differentiate them from his creatures in past films. Although a monster movie, the central theme explores what ordinary people are driven to do under extraordinary circumstances. The plot revolves around members of the small town of Bridgeton, Maine. Now, not to put people on blast, but this reminds me of a girl that I went to Simeon with. I mean, it is what it is. Like, I don't got no respect of persons. Like, the Most High told me to make a stand and stand up and talk. Ain't no more being quiet. So yes, I am putting Satan on blast. Yes, it's time. The name Britain. You know, who are these people? I can't even remember the girl name. It's gonna come to me. or maybe you see, because they changed their names so that you don't know who they are. But the Most High said, see who these people are. You see, they probably done got off my page. We really have to pay attention to the words that the Most High has given us. When He says no seed mixing, that's what He means. I met um, this, what do you call it, sodomite, whatever, and she was telling me that these people, they're the one whom they serve, they have to be with their own kind, even though they need the blood of the chosen to even survive. They have to be with their own kind. It's just because it just won't work, because they are innately not right. So we just gotta, it's just the truth. It is what it is. Ain't no hard feelings, but we gotta talk about this androgyny demon. You know what I'm saying? This, what the, like, why do we want to do stuff like this? Why? These names. Let's see what Florence, Italy is all about. Let's see. And we see what pops up. Small penis. I don't know if I could say that on here, but yeah. Take a walk through the streets of Florence and explore the enthralling art, culture, and tradition of the city. Florence, Italian Firenze, Latin Florentia, city capital of Firenze, Provincia province, and Lana Tuscany region, Italy. The city, located about 145 miles or 230 kilometers northwest of Rome, is surrounded by gently rolling hills that are covered with villas and farms, vineyards, and orchards. Florence was founded as a Roman military colony about the 1st century BCE, and during its long history, it has been a republic, a seat of the Duchy of Tuscany, whatever that means, and a capital 1865 through 70 of Italy. During Florence achieved preeminence in commerce and finance, learning, and especially the arts. We also have to understand how the arts play in demonology. So, this is the Florence Cathedral of Santa Maria del Fiore. And that name makes me think about Fiona. Fiona and Shrek. Let's take a look at them. Okay, so Princess Fiona is a fictional character in DreamWorks' Shrek franchise, first appearing in the animated film Shrek, one of the film series' main characters. Fiona is introduced as a beautiful princess placed under a curse that transforms her into an ogre at night. and make sure we pay attention to the colors. The color green, okay? The color green is a look, this is what we're dealing with down here in on the bottom of the map. Down here on the bottom of the map. ATL, baby, ATL. What my boy Ludacris, look, he letting them know. But Atlanta, yeah, I could see what I was researching, but yeah, it's a lot of homosexual activity going on. Um, what was I about to look up? This is a word that I keep seeing. The devil wants you to know when he's around, but you ain't scaring me, Satan, because I know who I am. I know who my father is. I know who my people are. So it ain't no stopping us, okay? So I just want to make to get on your www and let you know. So in the dough, here we go. And it's so funny that the school that I went to, I didn't even mean to put this in here like this, but the school that I went to was called Altgale. They all called it Alt Jail, like it was a jail. Who I can remember a lot of weird people. All right, let's read about. Okay, I want to read this first because this is where I come from. My grammar school, which was on 71st. Let me see what the address was. Let's see. And it looks like he had multiple schools. Like, this is the thing. These people came to try to re-educate us. This is what they did with Pocahontas. They took her and they created a doll out of her. And they made her an instrument of evil. So now, all this stuff that they done did is coming back to them, full force. And they running and they don't know what to do. Then they trying to put hexes and whatever they want to on the chosen people. But this is the thing. You cannot touch what has already been sealed. Understand, you already know this. But look what this say. Jeltz Christian Dido. What? A doctor in North Decatur, Georgia. This is why I don't deal with hospitals. Steve Geltz, stats, fantasy and news. Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs. Pay attention, people. They tell you, this is what I've been saying for the last few years. The demon has to expose himself. They cannot hide because they're so haughty. They so haughty, they gotta speak up. You ain't nobody. I don't know who you think you is. You ain't doing nothing. You ain't saying nothing. You ain't nobody. You ain't going nowhere. God don't like you. The Messiah ain't with you. You ain't like who you think you are. You can't touch me. You can't kill me. Look, I don't gotta put a hand on nobody. This is what Satan wants you to do. Satan wants to accuse you. Satan wants to give you a reason to murder, to kill, to steal, to do anything that he can to accuse you to the Most High. Well, she did this and you ain't gonna do nothing to her. She did this and you ain't gonna do nothing to her. She did this, he did this and you ain't gonna do nothing to him. Well, he did it this way and you ain't gonna do nothing to him. Look, repent. Repentance is key. Okay. We don't got time no more to be playing. Well, we never had time to be playing with the devil, but the devil made it his business to play with us. The Most High takes very offensively when somebody put their hands on his children. Mothers and fathers, I'm sure you can concur. But the game is over, and I try not to get too excited because I'm very upset. I'm very upset. I know my whole people been touched, but even just to know that your own personal household been touched that it makes you want to wild out on everybody. And it's a very sick feeling, sick to your stomach, that it makes you feel. So just gotta breathe. Let me continue though. Okay, so this Mr. Peter Altgeld was born December 30th, 1847, died March 12th, 1902. That's 312. He was an American politician and the 20th governor of Illinois. Serving from 1893 until 1897, he was the first Democrat to govern that state since the 1850s. Remember the number 50. 50 is Pentecost, the reaping, the harvest. Okay. A leading figure of the progressive movement, Altgeld signed workplace safety and child labor laws, pardoned 3 of the men convicted in the Haymarket affair, and rejected calls in 1894 to break up the Pullman strike by force. Let's see what the Haymarket affair was the aftermath of a bombing that took place at a labor demonstration on 5/4/1886 at Haymarket Square in Chicago. It began as a peaceful rally in support of workers striking an 8-hour workday, the day after police killed one and injured several workers. So in 1896, he was a leader of the progressive wing of the Democrat Party, opposing President Grover Cleveland and the conservative Bourbon Democrats. Who was Grover Cleveland? Big fat man. He was an American lawyer and politician who served as the 22nd and 24th President of the United States from 1885 to 1889 and from 1893 to 1897. Cleveland, what that means, to take land. And we know Grover from the from Sesame Street. Okay, Grover, also known as Super Grover Monster, and Grover Monster is a character on the popular PBS or HBO children's television show Sesame Street. Self-described as lovable, cute, and furry, he is a blue monster who rarely uses contractions when he speaks or sings. Performed by Frank Oz. Remember Frank Ocean, the brother who came out in his music. Yeah, it's really sick. Like, I get sick even talking about it, but I have to. I can't not say anything, cause my daddy gonna whoop me if I don't say nothing. So I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. Okay. Break it down. Break down. Let's see. The Ed Sullivan Show on December 24th, 1967 as Gleep. Let's see what Gleep is. Gleep, which stood for Graphite Low Energy Experimental Pile, was a long lived experimental nuclear reactor in Oxfordshire, England. It was a graphite moderated air cooled reactor and used 11,500 natural uranium fuel aluminum clad rods inserted into 676 horizontal fuel channels. Now, here we go again with that Dido. Dido is a nuclear reactor. Ukiah. Winfrith. Like, I know people that got names that sound just like this. And let's see. Dido was a materials testing nuclear reactor at the Atomic Energy Research Establishment at Harwell, Oxfordshire in the United Kingdom. It used enriched uranium metal fuel and heavy water as both neutron moderator and primary coolant. There was also a graphite neutron reflector surrounding the core. And then we have a Pluto reactor. You see, they don't want you knowing what they're doing in the sky. So they tell you, that it's a sin to even know these things. But y'all up here playing with stuff and trying to kill us. And then, no, 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 no. See, the Holy Spirit, that's where the Holy Spirit come in at. Because our people don't, first and foremost, we don't even care about these things. We don't care about it. But our father and our mother wisdom is going to show us what the enemy is doing against us and what we need to do to prepare ourselves for the attacks, because you're not going to keep attacking my kids and not think that I'm going to retaliate. Like, I'm not just going to come laying hands. Like, all right, so Pluto. Pluto is a TV station now. It says it's not a planet anymore. Say why Pluto is not a planet anymore. So the International Astronomical Union, AIU, what is that? Artificial intelligence backwards, downgraded the status of Pluto to that of a dwarf. Come on now. A dwarf planet because it did not meet the 3 criteria the IAU uses to define a full-sized planet. Essentially, Pluto meets all the criteria except one. It has not cleared its neighboring region of other objects. So Pluto planet 76 died Thursday in Prague, Czech Republic, when it was killed by the International Astronomical Union, separated from the 8 classical planets and lumped in with 2 similarly sized dwarf planets. All praises to the Most High for strength and the mother wisdom. Like, y'all don't understand. This is serious. Don't forget to donate to the channel if you like what I'm talking about. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe again, because the information needs to go out. Okay, so just gonna give y'all a little lesson today on some astronomy. And there it is. So we got Sharon or Sharon, Kerberos or Nyx, Styx, and Hydra. And so this is Charon, known as Pluto the First, is the largest of the 5 known natural satellites or moons of the dwarf planet Pluto. It has a mean radius of 606 kilometers. She is the 6th largest known trans-Neptunian object after Pluto. Eris Haumea, Make, and Gong. What? Okay, this one here is a small natural satellite of Pluto, about 19 kilometers in its longest dimension. It was the 4th moon of Pluto to be discovered, and its existence was announced on July 20th, 2011. It was imaged along with Pluto and its four other moons by the New Horizons spacecraft in July 2015. Nix is a natural satellite of Pluto with a diameter of 49.8 kilometers across its longest dimension. It was discovered. It was discovered with Pluto's outermost moon, Hydra, on the 15th of May in 2005 by astronomers using the Hubble Space Telescope and was named after Nyx, the Greek goddess of the night. This is a movie my brother Xavier don't like. And now look, when you type in Lil, what comes up? Lil Uzi Vert, Lil Lucifer, Baby Pluto by Lucifer, Eternal a Take, Lil Nas, Love is Rage, Lil Baby, Lil Durk. Man, you see how Lil Durk has the golden hair like the Fallen, and of course Lil Wayne. Uh, then we have the movie Little Nicky. Pay attention to his, not only the colors that he is wearing, but his hairstyle, his mouth, the way that his mouth moves. Okay? This is the serpent seed. Mind you, pay attention to his little dog. It's always a little bulldog. Bull dagger. Dykes. Excuse my French. Uh, my husband, he had an ex that had a dog like that. And she herself liked to put those, funny colors, dye her hair those funny colors, green and yellow and stuff like that. These are sirens. These are creatures that we are dealing with, tricksters, shapeshifters. Andre the Giant. Oh y'all, let's get a little, give y'all a little lesson today, honey. Cameo the devil. It was a devil named Cameo that called himself trying to molest my daughter, and I sent them straight to jail. I sure did. Found out he was trying to molest his own daughter. Demons. You cannot infiltrate what the Most High has already set apart as clean. Trying to make us unclean and defile us and defile our children and get them while they young. So when they do get older, you ain't gotta worry about it. Now look at Mr. Nicky, and I want to show y'all somebody on my Facebook page. I don't give a damn if you don't like it or not. Yeah, I'm doing it. Surely is. Wish I could show y'all the little thing I got on my shoe. It say I said what I said, and I meant it. It say all that, but it say I said what I said. What this say? Somebody tagged me in. Use your vigilance. It sounds like use your vigilance. European database of suspected adverse drug reaction reports The European Medicines Agency publishes these data so that its stakeholders, including the general public, can access information that European regulatory authorities use to review the safety of a medicine or active substance. Transparency is a key guiding principle of the agency. COVID 19 vaccine adverse drug reactions 13,867 dead, 1,487,353 other adverse reactions up to June 5th, 2021. COVID 19 mRNA vaccine, Moderna. Like, who wants this stuff in them? AstraZeneca. What the heck is that? Let's look these. Like, this is what I'm saying. What is mRNA? Messenger RNA. Who is the messenger? What messenger? What type of messages you trying to get? Okay, they bad. Oh, these people make me so sick, so sick. Like, I can't even eat food right now. I cannot eat nothing that's cooked. Like, I literally turned the gas off my stove. I don't want no cooked food. I don't want no food from no restaurants. All I can eat is fruit right now. I don't want nothing that got to be cooked. So, messenger RNA is a single-stranded RNA molecule that is complementary to one of the DNA strands of a gene. The mRNA is an RNA version of the gene that leaves the cell nucleus and moves to the cytoplasm where proteins are made. During protein synthesis, an organelle called a ribosome moves along the mRNA, reads its base sequence, and uses the genetic code to translate each three base triplet or codon into its corresponding amino acid. Whoo, baby. Y'all don't like to talk about Ishmael. Ishmael is something different. They something strange. Now, I don't usually contract these people. I don't usually come in contact with these people, but over the weekend, honey, they was having a party, or they was getting somebody was getting married or something, but they was all over the street. I was just walking downtown trying to get past. These people would not move out of my way. I said, "Excuse me, can me and my son can we get a little bit of space? I ain't asking for the whole road like y'all trying to take. This is the sidewalk. Understand? If y'all got the building on lock, then y'all need to go in there. I ain't say all that, but that's what I was thinking. Like, I just want a little bit of space. They were like a herd. Like, I could not get through. I'm like, dang. And they ain't going to say nothing. They not going to speak to you. These are some of the most rudest people I have ever encountered. Even the blacks down here. Like, I thought I was coming to Atlanta, the South, it's supposed to be friendly. Everybody's supposed to be nice and speaks it. Sodom and Gomorrah, baby. Ain't little boy downstairs from me almost cussed me out because I say, "Hey, honey, how you doing? I'm your new neighbor. What's your name?" "Lady, I don't know you." Oh, okay, son. My bad, shorty. Let me go on up here where I live at. The lady downstairs bugged me. You want to knock on my floor, your ceiling with your broom or whatever you got, putting holes in your ceiling, because I'm not finna stop walking across my floor for you, lady. If you don't like where you live at, then you need to relocate or wait till I do so. Okay? Because can't nobody make me move. All right? But the Most High. When Most High say go, that's when I go. Now, I just want y'all to pay attention. This is a couple that I recently friended on Facebook. And like I said, just pay attention to their faces, their names, the colors, Red, blue, and white. That's America all day. Hmm. See, my thing is Satan know the Bible too. We got a lot of infiltrators. We got a whole lot of infiltrators. Mm. Is that a bunny rabbit? All right.
Irritation means less money, more deaths equal more money. So they lying to y'all about not.
Hmm. All right. Now back to these Celtic druids. Look, we got the Celts, Jelps, all gel. Druid Hills is literally in Atlanta. Come on, I seen the bus yesterday going past me that said Druid Hills. I'm like, say what? Nah, you gotta be kidding me, man. You gotta be. So, Druid Hills is a community which includes both a census designated place in unincorporated DeKalb County, Georgia, United States, as well as neighborhood of the city of Atlanta. Oh my word, I gotta get out of here, y'all, cause I'ma click, 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 boom on one of these minions, like, cause I can't, y'all, I gotta go. See what I be talking about? Even the damn weather is 74. Come on now, 74. That's gang code. Come on now. Like I grew up in the hood, 74 gang. Look, I wasn't no thug. I wasn't no gangster, but I grew up around gangsters. So stuff I just the way that I am, the way that the creator made me, stuff that I hear just sticks to me. I be like, oh, okay. And then stuff come back to me and I be like, oh, okay. So 7-4 is related to the Gangster Disciples gang, from G being the seventh letter and D being the fourth letter of the Roman alphabet. My little brother is 7-4 for real. See more words with the same meaning. Okay, so 7-4 means criminal, hooligan, gangster, or gangster. We know, okay, 7-4 Hoover Criminals Gang. The 7-4 Hoover Criminals Gang, 7-4 HCG, also known as 7-4 Hoover Criminals Gang, and formerly known as 7-4 Hoover Crips until the early 1990s. The 7-4 Hoovers are primarily African American street gang located on the west side of South Central Los Angeles, California. Number 74 is one of hope, encouragement, peace, and love. The divine realm, through angels, is letting you know that they are always with you. The guidance of the divine realm will enable you to make the right decisions and choices in life. Seeing 74 everywhere in your life is encouraging. Okay, so what are the ranks in GD? The ranks are from lowest to highest. Pee Wee, Minuteman, Fox Soldier, High Foot Soldier, Low Night Walker, Royal Page, 12 Gangs, A Counselor's Dilemma, 7 Knight of the Round Table, Royal Knight of the Round Table, High Knight, King of All Knights, Chief Executor, Chief Prosecutor, and etc. So 7414 is a term used by the Gangster Disciples Nation, which represents their acronym GDN. G is the 7th letter of the alphabet, D again is the 4th, and N is the 14th letter of the alphabet, hence the term 7414. So the Gangster Disciples are a criminal street gang formed in Chicago in the late 1960s. Their allies are the Crips and Folk Nation. Their rivals include the Bloods and People Nation. In Tipton County, these are Vice Lords. Members often designate themselves as a part of the gang by wearing blue and black clothing. 74 is the natural number following 73 and preceding 75. 74 is a cardinal number. Factorization 2 times 37. I like numbers, y'all. Divisors are 1, 2, 37, and 74. Got the Greek numerals, the Roman numerals, the binary 1, 0, 0, 10, 10, 2. Ternary 2202. Octal 112. The number 112 is in general signifies creating a solid base for the future. This number also symbolizes focus, pragmatism, independence, self-sufficiency, and foundation. Okay, we got 112, the music group. Name, meaning. We just breaking stuff down today. All right. Let's take a look at these brethrens. I was talking to my brother yesterday, and I was talking about, they had a song called Peaches and Cream. So 112 is a B quartet from Atlanta made up of Darren Jones or Sharon, Michael Keith, Quinns Q Parker, and Marvin Slim Scandrick. He signed the quartet and they subsequently changed their name from Forte to 112 as a tribute to the good fortune the club had brought them. 112 sounds like 1 plus 12. 1 plus 12 is 13. For those of you who are unfamiliar with this series, y is the sum of all integers equal to 112. For those of you who are unfamiliar with this series, which has come to be known as the Ramanujan summation after a famous Indian mathematician named Srinivasa, I can't say that. It states that if you add all the natural numbers, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, all the way to infinity. How do you get to infinity? When do you get to infinity? You will find that it is equal to 1/12. The sum to infinity for an arithmetic series is undefined. So how do you get to infinity? What is equal to infinity? In mathematics, anything divided by 0 is not defined and not infinity, but limit is well defined and is equal to infinity. It is the basic concept of limits. The fraction 224 is equal to 112 when reduced to its lowest terms. Absolute infinity. This is the smallest ordinal number after omega. And formally, we can think of this as infinity plus 1. So when we think about Toy Story, I've actually gotten rid of most of the toys in my house because I truly believe they're idols and they carry spirits. They most certainly do. So we think about Toy Story. You have the cowboy. Of course, the cowboy always has its gun. We know cowboys and Indians. Buzz Lightyear, his favorite, and we all know this was a straight demon, Eric Von Detten. He looked like a demon. And he was a demon in on the cartoon. So Buzz Lightyear, he said, to infinity and beyond. Who's trying to get to infinity and beyond? Satan. Peep the cups. I ain't gonna play it because I know they like flagging people. But we really got to pay attention to what's going on. It's really time to get off of these devices. It's time to see. And I know I cut off. It's still one come on. So okay, let's see what Buzz Lightyear's story is. So Buzz Lightyear's famous catchphrase in the Toy Story films and the TV series Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. The phrase is not only said by Buzz, but is also said or referenced by other characters, notably Woody. The catchphrase served as a namesake for the book To Infinity and Beyond, the story of Pixar Animation Studios. Buzz Lightyear, just before demonstrating how he flies to the toys, Andy, as he plays with Buzz before the family outing at Pizza Planet. The phrase is heard in a commercial advertising Buzz Lightyear toys. Buzz just before jumping from the railing at Sid's house. Woody impersonating Buzz as he tries to convince the other toys that Buzz is with him. Sid as he takes Buzz out of his room to be blown up. Woody as he and Buzz fly down slowly in the air while trying to catch up with the moving truck. And as we see, he has four. There's four Toy Stories. Something else that came to my mind yesterday was Wreck-It Ralph. Um, this internet, this World Wide Web is truly a web of deception. If you don't know any better, yes, you can be taken off course by the things that the enemy puts in front of you. These algorithms are definitely listening to you, and they definitely know what you're saying and what you're putting out here. But the Holy Spirit is telling us to continue to push forth through these same devices that the enemy is trying to use against us, to try to warn our people and to make intercession, because the enemy is really trying as hard as he can to take each and every one of us out. And it's a very, very sick thing. It's very, very sick. Okay, I'm going off course. Let me get back to Bubble Boy. I just have to show you how all these things, when you're researching one thing, it just doesn't stop because it keeps going. Okay, I guess we might need to touch on this. I saw a dead snake in the street the other day. Satan ain't scaring nobody. It looked just like this. Come on now, let me get a hallelujah, cause Satan is about to get stumped on. You ain't scaring nobody. I've been scared of snakes all my life, but I ain't scared of nothing. I don't fear nothing but the Most High. I always been like that. They try to put the fear into your mind. You know what I'm saying, through the movies and all. My mama used to watch the movie Anaconda, so I already know what's up, and I know that the Most High got me. So what do I have to fear? So Paul the apostle lays out the hierarchy of demons in Ephesians 6:12. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the powers, against the world forces of this darkness, against the spiritual forces of wickedness in the heavenly places. As I wrote in my book, Jezebel's Puppets, spiritual warfare requires wrestling hand-to-hand combat with bodiless enemies we can't see with our natural eyes, and this is facts. The Greek word for wrestling in Ephesians 6:12 is palo. The New Testament Greek lexicon defines it as a contest between two in which each endeavors to throw the other, and which is decided when the victor is able to hold his opponent down with his hand upon his neck. The term is transferred to the Christian struggle with the power of evil. And who likes to wrestle? I've never liked wrestling. I always thought it was queer. And pay attention with who they got wrestling. They got high school wrestling. They got our little boys wrestling. Boys. WWE. Middle school. USA. Look, they got the whole USA on it. Like, this is this. Why do boys need to be all on top of each other's butts like that? It's disgusting. They got women's wrestling now. And look how these what are these leotards all up in their butt, got their butt showing. Like, his butt is up in the air. He got his arm out between his crotch. Like, you seeing all their body parts. Like they be having their heads all down, and they, like, this is nasty. Look how his legs are open. Like, are you serious? It's just freaky. It's just freaky. Moab, Ammon, Esau, Ishmael. Like, mm, let me get some water. right. My bad. I have to give you some cocoa melons. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about no. We'll make another video. I gotta get to Bubble Boy. So Pumbaa, Pumas,
Oh yeah, those.
Timon and Pumbaa,
I'm talking about those other.
Pumas. Let me look it up. See, my son be putting me up on game, y'all. Yeah, listen to your children, man. You be talking about you just a child. You don't know nothing. My baby say he don't know about pumas. Let's see what a puma is. Oh, that's Erica Badu daughter's name.
I'm
And
talking about the animal.
she a little strange looking. No, it's a shoe. It's an animal, but it's a shoe too. This is the you gotta understand how they take stuff and they make these idols and these signs and these symbols. So Club Universidad Nacional, commonly known as UNAM or simply Pumas, is a Mexican professional football club based in Mexico City. Thanks, A. You're so smart. Baby, I always put me up on game. So who is these Mexicans? Huh? Is it the black Mexicans? Or what Mexicans are they? Um, let's see. What is Unum? Portal Unum. Oh, that's sick. Um, uh, the National Autonomous The National Autonomous University of Mexico is a public research university in Mexico. It ranks highly in world rankings based on the university's extensive research and innovation. It is the largest university in Latin America and has one of the biggest campuses in the world. What is autonomy? Autonomous means of a country or region having the freedom to govern itself or control its own affairs. The federation included 16 autonomous republics. In Kantian moral philosophy, acting in accordance with one's moral duty rather than one's desire. So we know that this is pretty much what the American thought process is. Okay, so back to Bubble Boy. So pay attention again to the names: Sharon, Syrian, streaming on October 18th. 1 plus 8 equals 9. This is the devil number. It's October, and that means it's horror movie season. Netflix is ready to scare your pants off with the streaming platform's latest original horror film, horror movie Eli. Directed by Syrian Foy, Sinister 2, the maker of Sinister 2, the film follows Eli Charlie Shotwell from 2016's Captain Fantastic, an 11-year-old boy with an autoimmune disorder who, sheltered from the dangerous environmental stimuli of the world, is checked into a quote-unquote clean house for treatment. But he soon discovers that the house is not just clean, it's haunted. Think Bubble Boy meets The Conjuring. Similarities to the latter are reinforced by the presence of Lily Taylor, star of The Conjuring and recently canceled Netflix series Chambers, in the film's cast. Kelly Riley, recently seen in TV's Yellowstone, also stars. Now you see what they got coming out. Underground Railroad, huh? So from Netflix, here's the synopsis. Eli is the story of a young boy plagued with an unknown, debilitating illness that requires him to live completely sealed off from the outside world. After exhausting every option, his parents put their trust and his life in the hands of a doctor whose experimental, cutting edge treatments at her clean house facility may hold Eli's last hope. As Eli undergoes the tremendously intense process that could potentially cure him, he begins to be haunted by experiences that make him question who he can trust and what is lurking inside the house. The film is written by David Churchillo, whatever. 2013's witty horror comedy Cheap Thrills, along with Ian Goldberg and Richard Nane, co-writers of the acclaimed 2016 horror movie The Autopsy of Jane Doe. Eli is the latest Netflix horror outing to ostensibly become buried on the site's packed page of scary movies. If you're looking for a silly scare, one recent standout from the Serviette of Netflix original horror movies is The Perfection, starring Allison Williams and Logan Browning as warring musical prodigies gone psycho. Producers on Eli also worked on the chilling, atmospheric Netflix horror series The Haunting of Hill House, created by filmmaker Mike Flanagan, who is next directing on the big screen with the Shining sequel, Doctor Sleep, opening November 8th. Yes, very, very, very interesting movies that these people are coming out with. How do they come up with this stuff? So, so why is Eli the way that he is? As you can see the things that pop up when I type in Eli the Hybrid. You get hybrid and online courses, English Language Institute, ELI, Eli. This is the thing, the relearning, the teaching of their ways to us, and this is a Hawaii education. Um, Hybrid certified instructor program, Eli Learning and Training. The Eli Hybrid certified instructor program for virtual and in-person delivery is designed to help human resources, EEO, L&D, or other professionals. Civil treatment basics, civil treatment workplace, civil treatment, okay. HR pros use the new hybrid certification in the virtual workplace with like, what is this? Eli Spiral, hybrid language, original mix. Like, peep the numbers, peep the symbology, the symbolism. Cloud computing. This is what this is all about. Um, Hybrid alpha challenge. You want to be alpha, but you can't because you're a hybrid. It's not possible. It's not going to happen. Um, Elijah Michelson from the originals. And so Daniel Gillies is his name. Sounds like yeah. It's, I mean, pay attention. This is all the same stuff. Nothing new under the sun. Nothing new under the sun. They can't make nothing new because they're not that smart. Like, you have to recreate. Check out Jennifer Tilly and her look. What she looks like. What is her nationality? Why is she in love with the doll? So, no, I am fat. I'm huge. For the love of Mary, I'm pregnant. Jennifer to Joan. Jennifer Tilly is the target of Tiffany's soul transference and the star of the self referencing from Chucky Goes. Yeah, I see Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay, Jennifer Tilly is the target of Tiffany's soul transference and the star of the self-referencing film Chucky Goes Psycho. The seed Chucky in 2004, Jennifer is sick of Hollywood not respecting her and taking her seriously, focusing on the discovery of pornography containing her having sex with another woman. She hears from the agent Joan of a new director, Redman, like Redman and Method Man, who plans to bring an intelligent actress to his movie about the Virgin Mary. When she goes to the audition, she is turned down for Redman's first choice, Julia Roberts. Determined to ensure that Julia does not get the role, she seduces Redman to get him back to her estate, though to the disgust of her secret admirer, Joan. Joan, for trying to interfere, is reluctantly fired by Jennifer and told to leave as Redman arrives. Jennifer offers Redman a threesome with the other woman of the lesbian porn by claiming that they are good friends and still in contact. As they are about to engage, she watches in horror as Redman is knocked unconscious. From behind the couch emerges Tiffany asking for Jennifer's autograph. Although she tries to flee, she is knocked out with one of her film awards. Chucky and Tiffany had, unknowingly to Jennifer, been planning to use her and Redman as their new bodies. In order to get Glenn's soul into a human body, Chucky's semen is inserted by Tiffany into Jennifer so she can bear a child for Glenn to use. As the two awake the next morning, unaware of the events of the night before, Jennifer suddenly experiences morning sickness and realizes that she is pregnant. She tells Redman over dinner because she believes that the baby is his, but Redman says he isn't because he had a vasectomy, which leaves Jennifer very confused. Redman sees no interest in her anymore and claims that he can't hire her if she's pregnant. As she leaves the dinner room, he is killed and hidden upstairs. And soon, Jennifer is abducted while on the phone with Joan, informing her of her dilemmas. Jennifer is gagged and tied to her bed to soon be joined by her limousine driver, Stan, or Satan, who is also secretly in love with her. Since Redman was killed, he is now the replacement body for Chucky. Because of the voodoo powers keeping Chucky alive, Jennifer's pregnancy is accelerated and she quickly gives birth to twins. Dogs? We got to understand where these things come from. How many people do you know with twins? And if you do know people with twins, how do they look? Size wise, height wise, how do they eat? Things of that nature. I don't know a lot of people with twins. I dated a guy, he was a twin, a very evil twin, in fact. His name was actually the devil. His name was Devil DeVale. I told him when I left him, I said, "Yo, mama gave you the right name, honey, because you is the devil in the flesh, baby." So, yeah, twins. So when I left, he always was trying to say, "You gonna have my twins, ain't you? You gonna have my." I'm like, yeah, Then I'm most you ain't having no twins. We have one baby at a time, honey. Get that ogre on somewhere. Like, what are you people? I don't understand this. Um, Look, super twins, the mermaid lady. Rebecca Roberts. And if you watch the originals, you should pretty much already know where I'm going with this. So, Rebecca is a name. Teasdale. Tisdale. Tinsdale. The name Rebecca means fat, fattened, a quarrel appeased. What? Her story is riddled with mistakes and bad choices, but she is still counted as worthy as a mother, as a woman who left a legacy that pointed her children and so many more to Christ. No, I'm it, not. Wait, was it Rebecca, Leah, and Rebecca? No. Oh. Okay. Well, wasn't really looking for Rebecca. I was actually looking for Rachel and Leah, but this is a good point. Here goes SpongeBob with the leaf blower outside. Pay attention to the numbers. Remember, I said 37 times 2. Mm-hmm. To infinity and beyond. Always and forever. Cause of death stabbed through the heart as an untapped witch. So yes, the devil is on a rampage right now because he knows that his time is short. So they want to put out as many movies and um, anything that can alter your mind. You know, that's why we have the vaccine. We have all these different the foods that we're eating. This is why Uber Eats and DoorDash. This is why everybody is moving so fast. You don't even have to go anywhere anymore. The devil gonna bring it to your door. Here, food right here. You gotta know it. So, Rebecca Michelson, Elder Futhark, is the former female protagonist of the originals. She was a major recurring and guest character in the third, fourth, and fifth seasons of Diaries. She is the sole female original vampire. Rebecca is the second daughter of Michael and Esther. She is the younger sister of Freya, Finn, Elijah, Cole, and the elder sister of Henrik, and the younger half sister of Klaus. She is the aunt of Freya and Matthias's unborn son, Klaus and Haley's daughter, Hope, and Freya and Keelan's son, Nick. Throughout her millennium long life, Rebecca's actions and personality have been hindered by her relationship with Klaus and her desire to a normal human life. She has also been romantically involved with a few characters from the series. In the 12th century, she was in love with a vampire hunter named Alexander, who was a member of the Brotherhood of the Five. In the late 19th and early 20th century, she was in a relationship with Klaus's protege while she and her family lived in New Orleans. After she left New Orleans with Klaus to escape her father Michael, she was briefly in a relationship with Stefan Salvatore in Chicago during the early 1920s. And because she chose Stefan over her half-brother, Klaus daggered her for 90 years in punishment for her perceived betrayal. Once she undaggered in 2010, she had several brief flings with both Stefan and Damon Salvatore before finding herself in a romantic relationship with the human Matt Donovan. Shortly afterward, she followed her brothers Klaus and Elijah back to New Orleans, where they once again settled as a family, allowing her the opportunity to rekindle her relationship with Marcel. In the middle of the originals, she was finally given her freedom by her brother Klaus and left the city to fulfill her desires at a normal life. However, she returned briefly in the season's finale to become her niece Hope's guardian after Klaus and Haley faked her death for her own safety. After mother and brothers Finn and Cole were resurrected, Esther began tracking Rebecca's movement, forcing her to rejoin her family in New Orleans to plan how to best protect Hope from the new threats she faced. In the map of moments, Rebecca came up with a plan to take down her mother, which involved pretending to take her offer to possess the body of a mortal and rejoin her mother and brothers Finn and Cole. However, because of a trick played on her by Cole in retaliation for Rebecca slighting him in 1914, Rebecca's spirit was unknowingly placed in the body of a witch named Eva Sinclair, who was imprisoned in the Falling Cottage Asylum due to her crimes against the children of the New Orleans Covens. She was then trapped in the asylum until her sister Freya awakened from her century-long freed them both with her magic. In Love You Goodbye, when her brother Cole died, she made a promise that she wouldn't leave her new witch body until she finds a way to bring him back. She later confirmed this decision again in Exquisite Corpse after Eva temporarily regained control over her body and used it to attempt to complete the Rite of Nine using the children Eva had kidnapped and channeled both prior to her imprisonment and afterward, because Rebecca's spirit was the only thing keeping Eva's body alive, and because the 8 teenage witches, including Davina Claire, were still linked to Eva's body. Rebecca's return to her true body would cause them to die as well, a fate that Rebecca did not want for them. So after Vincent assisted her in severing her host body connection to the 8 teenage witches, Klaus compelled Marcel to kill her if she attempted to leave the compound in an effort to keep them from interfering with his plans. Forced Marcel to kill her by attempting to leave, Rebecca figured out that Klaus wanted Eva's body to be killed in order for her spirit to return to true body, and not wanting Marcel to go through the pain of killing her himself. Rebecca fatally stabbed herself, or Eva, through the throat. Rebecca commits suicide in her mortal body in order to keep a compelled Marcel from ending her life because of Klaus's orders. As she expected, the death of her host body caused her spirit to return to her original body. However, after Dahlia was defeated, Rebecca's sister Freya healed Eva's body so that Rebecca could return to it and continue her work in bringing Cole back from the dead. After months had passed, Rebecca was confronted at her house in Morocco by Aya and dozens of her fellow members of the Strix, who, on Tristan de Martel's orders, killed Eva's body once again so that Rebecca would have to return to her own. The Strix, who intended to neutralize her and bring her back to Tristan in New Orleans, attacked her en masse, and though Rebecca would normally be at an advantage due to her age and status as an original, she was weakened from not having fed during her 6 months in the coffin. After quite a bit of fighting, Aya finally incapacitated her by stabbing her in the heart with a cursed stake that had been created by the Moroccan witch and that acted similar to a white oak ash dagger, allowing her to put Rebecca's body back in her coffin and fly her back to her home. Unfortunately for Aya and Rebecca, Rebecca's body was intercepted by vampires under Aurora de Martel's control, and once Rebecca was in their possession, they dropped her body in the Gulf of Mexico and wrote her location on 2 pieces of paper before they were killed by Aurora. One piece of paper had the latitude and the other had the longitude, so that Tristan and Aurora would each have half of the location, preventing them from being killed by the Michelsons without risking losing Rebecca forever. Rebecca spent a month at the bottom of the ocean, completely aware of every sensation, until Elijah finally had a boat crew dredge her up. However, upon awakening, Rebecca realized she had a skull-shaped wheal on her arm that, along with the intense bloodlust she was feeling, indicated that she had been cursed by the stake. After several hours, Rebecca became so rabid and violent that she attacked Haley and the rest of her family, forcing Freya to enchant a knife that would allow her to remove the curse patch of skin. Unfortunately, Rebecca realized upon driving to the airport that her curse and the skull-shaped wheel had returned, which led Rebecca to beg Elijah to dagger her and to both keep her incapacitated keep her condition a secret until after they were sure the prophecy had been broken, after which point Elijah could have Freya come up with a cure and awaken her. Though Elijah initially refused, he eventually gave in and neutralized her before hiding her body in a safe place in the meantime. By the end of the 3rd season, she was saved from the effects of an insanity hex when Freya bound her life, as well as that of her siblings, to Klaus. She and the others except Klaus, who was daggered with Papatunde's blade, would spend the next 5 years in a chamber de chasse while Haley searched for a cure for Marcel's venom. In the 4th season, Rebecca was revived by Freya to help deal with Marcel, who had nearly destroyed their family, though after being reunited with her family, she and Cole headed to Europe. They both returned to New Orleans after Elijah's death in order to deal with the Hollow. In doing so, she now contains 1/4 of the Hollow spirit. She left for New York City shortly thereafter, where Marcel joined her. In the 5th season, Michelsons are forced to reunite in New Orleans due to a new threat. With the Hollow back in hope, Klaus decides to sacrifice himself to destroy it once and for all, with Elijah choosing to die with him. Before dying, Klaus arranges for Rebecca to receive the cure in Mystic Falls so that she can finally have the mortal life Rebecca has always sought. Rebecca proposes to Marcel, who accepts, even though Rebecca's plan means that she will someday die. Rebecca is a member of the Michelson family and an unnamed witch family. So, Rebecca is the second daughter of Michael and Esther, wealthy landowners from the Kingdom of Norway in the 10th century. Her mother gave birth to Freya, Finn, and Elijah in the Old World, but after Freya was sent away with Esther's sister Dahlia as payment for Esther's fertility spell, which was later covered up by Esther, who claimed Freya had died of the plague, Esther and Michael were so devastated that they decided to follow the advice of Esther's witch mentor, Ayanna, who told her of a mystical land, the New World, where its natives were strong and healthy. They then settled in what is now Mystic Falls, Virginia, where Esther and Michael had 4 more children: Niklaus, who was secretly fathered by a werewolf named Ansel, Cole, Rebecca, and Henrik. Rebecca, like the rest of her siblings, was born a witch, but she did not tap into her powers prior to being turned into a vampire in her teens. In Farewell to Storyville, a flashback of a young Rebecca in the late 10th century was shown happily playing in the woods with all of her siblings as they chased each other around and tackled one another. Niklaus once stayed awake with her during a stormy night and gave her a wooden carved knife. As the thunder and lightning scared her, he comforted her and stayed beside her all night, stating that he will always protect her. Niklaus was once violently beaten by his father Michael for allegedly stealing his blade, unaware of the fact that it was really Rebecca who had secretly taken it. Feeling guilty for the pain she had caused him, Rebecca treated him with extra kindness for weeks afterward to make up for it, though Klaus would not learn the truth about Rebecca's involvement until many centuries later. In her teenage years, Rebecca once threatened Michael with a sword when he wouldn't stop viciously beating Klaus with a whip. That night, she even tried to kill her father in his sleep for mistreating Niklaus, and would have gone through with it had Elijah not stopped her. Rebecca, like the rest of her siblings, seemed equally afraid of Michael, though as one of his favorite children, she never was a victim of his abuse. While living in the New World, they lived in peace with the werewolves in their village for over 2 decades. However, during a full moon, Niklaus and Henrik snuck out to watch the men from their village transform into werewolves. However, as the sun began to rise, Rebecca saw Niklaus carrying Henrik's lifeless body back into the village, and he tearfully confessed that one of the werewolves had mauled Henrik to death. Not wanting to go through the pain of losing another child ever again, their mother Esther decided to tap into dark magic to cast an adapted version of Ketsia's immortality spell, calling upon the sun for life and the ancient white oak tree for immortality. That night, unbeknownst to Rebecca and her siblings, they drank wine laced with the blood of Tatia at dinner, and afterward, Michael drove his sword through their hearts. After the children awakened, Michael forced his children to feed on the blood of a local villager in order to complete their transition into vampires. Though Rebecca described the feeling of becoming a vampire as being euphoric, she and her siblings quickly began to realize that their new gifts had its weaknesses as well. The flowers that grew at the base of the white oak tree, vervain, burned them and prevented them from compelling their human neighbors. The sun burned their skin, making it impossible for them to walk in the daylight until their mother enchanted rings to protect them, and they were unable to enter the homes of their neighbors without an invitation. The worst of their side effects was their insatiable thirst for human blood, which persisted long after they had transitioned into vampires and eventually forced them to learn self-control. After realizing that wood carved from the white oak tree would be fatal to them if stabbed into their hearts, they burned the tree to the ground for their own protection. Then, after the revelation of Esther's infidelity and Klaus's true parentage led to their mother's death, Rebecca, Niklaus, and Elijah swore to each other that they would never turn on each other and stick together as one, always and forever. After Gloria revealed to Klaus that Rebecca had what she needed to contact the original witch, Klaus reluctantly resurrected his sister. While she is resurrecting, Klaus compelled a guard to let her feed from the guard and also told the guard to tell her where to meet Stefan and Klaus. After rising from the dead, Rebecca is delighted to see Stefan again, but is furious after she is unable to find her necklace. She was appalled by modern music and fashion. Gloria uses Rebecca to find the amulet and, after doing so, threatens to kill the girl with her necklace and her friends. As Stefan is about to stop. As Stefan is about to open Elijah's coffin, Rebecca walks in. He tells her he remembers they were running from someone and inquires about it. Rebecca tells Stefan that she can't talk about it and instead pulls Stefan into a long kiss. Rebecca then asks afterwards if he'll love another girl the same way he loved Elena. Stefan says he hopes to and tries to kiss Rebecca again, but she stops him, saying his kiss gave him away. Klaus appears and Rebecca reports that Stefan is not on their side, as he's asking about Michael once they're back in Mystic Falls. Rebecca informs Stefan that Klaus knows that the doppelganger is still alive when she is meant to be dead and that he won't be merciful. Stefan attacks her, but being an original vampire, Rebecca overpowers him and, out of jealousy, stabs him. She later meets Caroline and Tyler at Mystic Falls High School, knocks out Caroline, and takes Tyler to Klaus. After Klaus feeds Tyler his blood and kills him, Rebecca drags Tyler back to Caroline and stays to watch over them. As Rebecca sat there bored as ever, she goes through Caroline's phone only to find a picture of Stefan and Elena together and spots her mother's necklace around Elena's neck. Rebecca is furious and storms into the gym to inform her brother about the necklace's whereabouts. She threatens Elena and asks about the necklace's location, but Elena explains that she doesn't have it anymore because Catherine had stolen it from her. After Klaus figured out how to successfully create hybrids and having Elena donate blood, he and Rebecca are at the hospital's parking lot. She questions how he knew that he needed the doppelganger alive, and he reveals to her, "You know the original witch hated me. Do you honestly think I would do anything other than the opposite of what she says?" He further explains the doppelganger needed to die in order for me to become a hybrid. But if she was dead, Rebecca chimes in, then you couldn't use her blood to sire yourself a new species. And he adds, leaving me alone for all time. Rebecca is disappointed in his reasoning behind the creation of his own species, just so he would never be alone. Klaus changes the subject, sending her away to fetch the truck while she's gone. Damon comes to inform Klaus that Michael is on his way to Mystic Falls to finish him off, causing the hybrid to run off, leaving Rebecca behind. It's in Smells Like Teen Spirit, Rebecca forces herself into the Salvatore boarding house and enrolls into Mystic Falls High School, ostensibly to keep an eye on Tyler, whom she's been supplying with blood bags. Rebecca also joins the cheerleading squad and openly tells Caroline that she may be interested in her boyfriend and many other things of hers, practically declaring her war. The same night, she attends the traditional bonfire where Damon Salvatore tries to distract her so Alaric and Elena can get Stefan off the track with his charms and marshmallows. But Rebecca sees through him and stabs him. She later shows up at Tyler's house with the girl, teasingly biting her, and tells him that Klaus would want his hybrid to get the full vampire experience. At the mention of her brother, Tyler needs no more convincing and begins to feed on the girl. When Rebecca is at school and doing the flip for the cheerleading squad, sees Elena and asks what she wants. She replies she knows about her history from the carvings on the wall. After Elena walks off, there is a flashback of Rebecca putting her name on the wall and Klaus watches. He asks for the knife. Rebecca slams the sharp end down in his hand, thereby hurting it. Then Elena gets a text from Rebecca to come over and talk to her. She asks Elena what dress she should wear for the homecoming. Elena ignores and just intends to find out about her history. So Rebecca grabs the girl, and as she's about to bite her, Elena tells her to choose the red satin dress. Then Rebecca and Elena go upstairs, and Rebecca look through stuff and stuff. Then Rebecca tells Elena about who had the necklace, and it is revealed that the original witch was her mother, Esther. By the end of the episode, Rebecca finds out that Klaus was the one who killed Esther, not Michael, and she bursts into tears and accepts that her brother she loved could do something like this. After she helps getting Klaus back into town and confronting her father, Elena helps Rebecca prepare for the homecoming dance. Elena gives Rebecca her mother's necklace, and while Rebecca's off guard, stabs her with white oak ash dagger, neutralizing her. When Klaus almost has Jeremy and Alart killed, Elena makes a deal with Klaus to ensure Jeremy's safety. Elena returns Rebecca to Klaus in exchange for Klaus sparing Jeremy's life. Klaus accepts these terms and undaggers Rebecca. Prior to his departure, Elena informs Klaus that Rebecca learned the truth about Esther's murder. When he returns to his house when Rebecca is about to awaken, he apologizes for his actions and tells Rebecca that they will meet again another day. He then stakes her with the white oak ash dagger. Elijah undaggers Rebecca, who then stabs Klaus with one of her daggers. They plan on leaving Klaus alone when she is surprised to see their mother arrive. After promising that she will kill the doppelganger, Rebecca goes after Elena in dangerous liaisons. Rebecca reproaches to Elena that she daggered her and wants to bite her. Elijah shows up and stops Rebecca from killing Elena. Arriving home, Rebecca is threatened by Klaus because of her intention. Cole protects Rebecca from Klaus. Leaving the Michelsons' mansion, Rebecca goes to the grill where she meets Elena and Caroline. She goes there to invite Matt at the ball. When the party starts, Rebecca plans out with Cole to murder Matt to make Elena suffer because she feels something for him. Rebecca changes her mind and tells Cole she won't hurt innocent people. After Esther's speech, Rebecca drinks the champagne laced with Elena's blood, and so she becomes linked with her siblings. Cole didn't give up on killing Matt, so he wanted to make it without Rebecca. The boy is saved by Damon, who hurts Cole. This event is seen by all members of the original family, including Rebecca. Rebecca then meets Damon and hooks up with him after being upset that she disappointed Matt. The next morning in All My Children, we see Rebecca waking up next to Damon in his bed. When she was about to leave, she and Damon meet Elena at the door of the Salvatore house. She greets her with a sarcastic smile. Arriving home, she is teased by Klaus and Cole, the latter of whom calls her a strumpet. When her brothers leave for the Mystic Grill on a search for some fun, she throws a shoe at them for their remarks. When they are gone, we see her having a chat with Elijah, who is worried about their mother's behavior. When Elijah decides to take over control above the axe, he teams up with Rebecca after thinking out the following plan. Elijah kidnaps Elena and takes her to the caves, which run beneath the whole Mystic Falls area. Rebecca is sent to the cave to watch over Elena. She is kept there as a hostage to build up pressure on the Salvatore brothers. When Alaric daggers Cole in the grill, all originals die except Klaus because of their active link. This includes Rebecca. Elena uses that time gap to get some advantage, so she runs away. When Klaus rushes over to Cole to undagger him, Rebecca comes back to life too. By that time, Elena found the small chamber in the cave, which vampires can't enter. Getting creative, Rebecca returns with a tank of gasoline. She streams the gas on Elena and in the cave, then lights it up with matches, offering Elena a choice: either come outside or stay in there and burn. The girls then have a chat, which results in Rebecca sparing Elena's life after Damon turned Abby into a vampire and thus preventing Esther from killing her children. Rebecca releases Elena. Arriving home in the evening, she meets Elijah, who is about to leave. Klaus is seen burning his drawings of Caroline. Rebecca admits him that she considered Klaus as her only family over the years. Then she shows him the recordings she took with her phone about the carvings in the cave, which tell the story of the great white oak tree, which the originals burned down but was later replaced with a new one. They realize that it might be a danger to them, so they can be killed. Rebecca tries to figure out where the white oak tree could be. Therefore, she interviews the mayor, Carol Lockwood, about the old trees in the area. She finds out that some of them were used in order to build the town. In the Mystic Falls Grill, she joins Stefan and Damon in their conversations about the killings in 1912. She also tells them about how she knows Sage. She assists Damon in helping Stefan feed on a human. At the Wickery Bridge Foundation, Rebecca meets the Sage and Damon there. Sage suggests to Damon that they could discover what Rebecca was planning if he seduced her. Whew. Damon complies with Sage and attempts to coerce Rebecca into lowering her guard so Sage can get into her mind and see her thoughts. Damon and Rebecca sleep together, and while Rebecca is sleeping, Sage enters her mind to discover that Rebecca is searching for the remnant of the white oak tree. Sage also manages to get into Damon's head and discovers that Damon had been planning to kill all the originals, including her true love Finn, so she betrays Damon and warns Rebecca about Damon's plan to kill her and her family. Rebecca then strips the white oak wood from the Wickery Bridge and destroys it. After getting Finn back in town, Rebecca seeks revenge against Damon, who she truly believed had liked her, and she breaks into his home. Rebecca easily knocks Alaric out and attacks Damon. She then kidnaps Damon and takes him to Klaus's family mansion so she can torture him and drain the vervain out of his system so that he could be compelled. Shortly after organizing the 20s decade dance, Matt distracts her so she cannot know Tyler returned. She then begins to like having a guy around, but her happiness is short-lived as Esther comes back to town. They talk, and after a brief discussion, Esther seemingly falls down and appears to be dead. In the end of the episode, it is revealed that Esther possessed Rebecca's body in order to kill the originals. The next day, Rebecca and Esther gives Klaus the last white oak stake, and he burns it without hesitation. Rebecca and Esther goes to Alaric's apartment where all the coffins are. Where all the coffins are. Whatever. There, Esther has Rebecca neutralized so she can return to her normal body. This is the second time Rebecca was neutralized and missed a high school dance. Near the end of the episode, Klaus undaggers Rebecca. After missing the dance, Rebecca calls Caroline to help with cleaning up after the dance, even though she didn't get to attend. Caroline tells her that she is sorry about Esther. Later, she is attacked by Alaric and he tries to kill her. but fails after she goes out into sunlight. She then warns Klaus about a lark and tells him she is leaving and he should leave with her, to which Klaus refuses. Later that night, Rebecca appears at the storage warehouse to find Damon, who has apparently called her there. Once she arrives, Damon tells her to be quiet and to help him move Klaus's body. A lark then comes in and fights Rebecca, tosses her aside, and stakes Klaus. Rebecca then screams in horror as Damon holds her back and tells her to run. Later, Rebecca meets up with Elijah and tells him Klaus is dead. They console each other for their loss. Rebecca is then informed by Elijah that Tyler Lockwood died, but the other vampires sired by Klaus somehow survived. Both siblings assure each other that they, as well as Cole, were not responsible for siring Stefan and Damon's bloodline. Both ponder how they can still be alive following this revelation. So she calls Stefan and congratulates him for being alive. She informs Stefan that Elijah spoke to Elena and that she and Matt would be returning to town soon. On the phone, Stefan is puzzled as to why she is still in town, since Elijah told him they would be leaving immediately. Rebecca explains that Elijah wants to run, since a lark is after them. However, she informs Stefan that she is tired of running, and she and Klaus spent most of their lives running away from Michael. She tells Stefan that Klaus is dead, and if she and her brothers are to survive, a lark must die. Rebecca reveals to Stefan that she knows a lark's one weakness, Elena. Stefan tells Rebecca that they had a deal, but Rebecca tells him it is over, due to Klaus's death, as she blames Elena for it. Rebecca stands still on the bridge, catching Elena and Matt off guard, but Matt swerves the car to avoid hitting Rebecca and drives over the bridge, crashing into the water below. In season 1, Always and Forever, Rebecca is still in Mystic Falls at her home. She's seen taking a peaceful bath and sipping on champagne when her brother Elijah Michelson gives her a call. Previously, Elijah had left for New Orleans to investigate, since he had heard word that there were witches conspiring against their brother Niklaus Michelson. So in her phone call, he reveals to her that Klaus's former protege, Marcel Gerard, is still alive. Rebecca has a seemingly shocking reaction to this. Then he goes on to explain that not only is Klaus's sire, Marcel, still alive, but he is also thriving as the ruler of the French Quarter. He has an army of savage vampires and rules the supernatural beings with an iron fist. However, he swiftly loses her attention when he mentions Klaus's name. She goes on to state, "Our hateful, traitorous bastard of a brother, who's negated any sympathy I once had for him by his repeated efforts to ensure that neither you nor I know any happiness outside of his own selfish universe." Elijah brings up their pact to remain together, always and forever, but Rebecca calls take backs on that pact. He alleges that she has taken take backs before, to which she retorts, despite her age, she's hardly senile, and if memory serves her right, she stood by Klaus through thick and thin. Elijah then ends the conversation with saying that their brother must be in trouble when the witches are brave enough to bring an original back into town, and he wants to find out why. When Elijah meets Haley Marshall, he explains his family history to her. He shows her how they were turned into vampires through his mind. One of the first images that he shows her is a human Rebecca watching her brothers sword fighting. Rebecca then receives another call from Elijah, who was hoping to persuade her to join them in New Orleans. He updates her on the recent turn of events. He laments on how Klaus is willingly to give up on his own offspring, and he's lashing out with blind rage. He states that the last time he saw something like this, it lasted for 200 years. He vividly recollects how Klaus was so close to feeling happiness when he heard the child's heartbeat for the first time, but now his temper is still getting the better of him. He then ends the conversation by telling her he's running out of time to go get the girl. Upon hearing this, Rebecca replies with with her usual wit and sarcasm. What? Are we running an orphanage now? Still undeterred by her lack of enthusiasm to help Klaus, Elijah attempts to give Rebecca one last call to change her mind, but by this time her resolve to stay away had been totally demolished. That she knew if she answered his call that she would have no choice but to go help her brothers. So she decides to ignore his last call, but her expressions show that she had most likely made up her mind to join her brothers at that point. In House of the Rising Sun, after 3 months, Rebecca finally makes her appearance in New Orleans. She has been unable to reach Elijah, so she comes to find him. Rebecca enters Klaus's home and is met by Haley. She informs Rebecca that Elijah is gone. She tells his sister that after promising her and the baby protection, he just took off, according to Klaus. Rebecca immediately knows her brother has done something to Elijah and starts shouting insults until he appears from behind a closed door. The reunion between brother and sister is hostile, but not violent. Klaus tells her she's free to take a look around the rambling southern mansion that apparently belonged to an influential family friend, the governor. Rebecca recruits Haley to search the house. It doesn't take them long to locate the family coffins. Rebecca explains Klaus's habit of torturing his siblings on a whim or whenever they disappoint him. Elijah's coffin is missing. Haley feels sickened by this news, and Rebecca tells her she should have run the minute Elijah went missing. Haley fills her in on the witch's spell that keeps her bound to the city. Rebecca tells Haley that Klaus will probably have a box ready and waiting for her the minute she gives birth. She suggests Haley finds a way to break the hex the witches put on her and get out of town. That's what she plans to do as soon as she finds Elijah. Rebecca tracks down Sophie and tells her to do a locator spell on the dagger so she can find Elijah. Sophie refuses, telling Rebecca that doing magic is punishable by death, Marcel's rules. Rebecca makes her own threats but finds out that anything she does to Sophie also befalls Haley. Out of respect for Elijah, she has to come up with an alternative plan. Rebecca asks Sophie why the witches don't just leave. Sophie explains that they practice ancestral magic. She points out that the cemetery they are standing in houses the remains of their witch ancestors, and without access to them, they are powerless. Rebecca explains that the witch's plan of convincing Klaus to go against Marcel was foolish given the men's history. She reveals that Klaus loved Marcel like a son. She tells Sophie all she's done is reunite two lost souls. Later, Rebecca is reunited with Marcel and she tells him she's looking for Elijah, but he says he's learned not to get in the middle of their family feuds before he leaves. Haley takes Rebecca's advice and procures some wolfsbane to kill the baby. Little does she know that the woman who sold it to her also sold her out to Marcel. Now he knows there is a werewolf in the quarter. Haley gets cornered by some of Marcel's men in a park, but Rebecca swiftly and effectively comes to her aid. They unknowingly derailed Klaus on his journey to regain control of the quarter. Haley was supposed to remain confined in the house since werewolves are banned from the quarter. Rebecca also managed to kill a handful of Marcel's men. Rebecca calls him out, accusing him of lying about having a plan and chastising him for not honoring the deal Elijah made. Klaus explains that Marcel hasn't trusted Klaus from the beginning. He's had all his crew swilling vervain, so they're impervious to his mind control. Klaus saw a chance to recruit an insider the night he was at the Arbiter. He made sure that at least one newbie vampire emerged from the evening. So when Marcel took one in, Klaus compelled him before he was given vervain. He also decided to use Marcel's crush on the bartender Cammy against him. He compelled her into his service as well. Now, Klaus has to clean up after Rebecca's mess. Infuriated, he asks Haley what she was doing in the quarter, and when she tells him what she was about to do, he becomes enraged. Rebecca points out that for someone who claims to not want his child, his actions speak louder than his words. She tells him it is okay to care. Klaus admits to Rebecca that he gave Elijah to Marcel. He and his crew were getting antsy with so many originals in town, so he did it as a peace offering. He says he plans to dismantle Marcel's empire and honor Elijah's wishes regarding the baby, and if Rebecca doesn't like how he does it, she's free to leave. Rebecca tells Haley that for years, Klaus killed any suitor she ever had because he didn't think any were good enough for her. Haley asks Rebecca why she doesn't just go confront Marcel about Elijah, and she tells her that Klaus would kill her. Haley presents the infamous daggers. She found them underneath Rebecca's coffin. Rebecca confronts Marcel, and he takes her to see her brother. He introduces her to Davina, an incredibly powerful witch who invites her in. Just as Rebecca is ready to pull the dagger out of her brother's chest, Davina warns her not to do it. With her magic, she sends Rebecca flying out of the attic. Rebecca awakens to bad news this time as well. Marcel tells her the town, Davina, and Elijah are all his. Everything that used to belong to her and Klaus now belongs to him. But Rebecca will stop at nothing and do whatever it takes to get her brother Elijah back. In Tangled Up in Blue, Rebecca and Klaus have intersecting plans to get what they want. Marcel is having a huge masquerade ball tonight, and Rebecca strikes up a friendship with Cammy and invites her to go. And speaking of masquerade and balls, let's look this up. Leah, like Leah from the Bible, presents its 6th anniversary celebration. Pay attention. Friday, September 3rd at 8 p.m. Holiday Inn and Suites, Atlanta Airport North at IHG Hotel, 1380 Virginia Avenue in Atlanta. Come celebrate with Leah for its 6th year anniversary, Black Pride Weekend. We will have something for everyone. Y'all better stay woke. Better stay woke. Pay attention to the colors. We got anniversary. We got black and gold. Excuse me if y'all hear me smacking. I'm eating my watermelon. I'm a little thirsty and I don't like water. Hmm. Hmm. Mhm. Mhm. Okay, so I grew up around GDs, BDs, red, uh, GDs, blue and black, BDs, red and black. I didn't really have any. I knew of people who were like Vice Lords, Black and Gold. My uncle didn't really like Latin Kings. They always bothered them. But let's get into it. Okay, so Black and Gold, the color, Latin Kings. Who are these Latin Kings? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So the Latin Kings gang, the almighty Latin King and Queen Nation, Alcon, Lycan, is one of the largest Hispanic and Latino street and prison gangs worldwide. This gang was founded in my home city, Chicago, Illinois, in 1954. Here is their flag. It is red and black and yellow. Okay. Keep those colors in mind. Founded 1954. They are 67 years old. 6 plus 7 is 13. Founder Raymond Santos. Raymond Damon Damon. And so their territory is the KMC faction is active. Hey, I'm live. Reading about these gangs. I ain't live with my face. But yeah, I gotta get on this gang stuff because Hey, ma. Yeah. Uh huh. Let me get off here. That was yesterday. Oh, yeah. I talked to grandma yesterday.